Well, right around the time of the president's Oval Office address, two Chinese and two Russian military planes were tracked flying over international waters near Alaska. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, intercepted the Russian and Chinese jets. U.S. defense officials say it is the first time the two countries have been intercepted operating together. The bombers remained in international airspace and were not seen as a threat. Beijing says that it was a joint strategic patrol as part of existing annual projects. And for more, let's bring in Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery from the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Sir, good to have you on today. So what more can you tell us about this incident?
Well, thank you for having me. This was a very much a first of incident. It is the first time Chinese bombers have flown out into our air defense zones around Alaska. It's called the ADIZ, the Air Defense Identification Zone. And it's the first time Chinese and Russians have flown together in these kind of operations against any American airspace. So two Tu-95s from Russia, two H-6s from China, a very unique event and one that should concern us greatly.
Yeah, and NORAD deemed the flights, as we said, not a threat. But is it concerning, especially since these aircrafts were fly bombers and not another type of plane?
But, so I'm going to break this up. Tactically, NORAD is right. These were not a threat. They didn't come into our airspace. They weren't launching weapons. They probably weren't even carrying weapons. But really, it's the strategic messaging. The strategic messaging that we clearly have an axis of authoritarians, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, who are working together very aggressively, whether it's supporting Russia in its war against Ukraine or supporting Iran in its conflict with its ongoing conflicts with Israel, or supporting North Korea in the development of its nuclear weapons. These four countries are beginning to operate very well together. And this is the first time we've seen Russia and China do this kind of tactical operation at an extended range. So it does matter that they're bombers. That is a signal to us. And the big picture is that strategically we're facing four adversaries that are working together against the collection of democracies.
Yeah, and from a national security standpoint, how vulnerable do you think we are right now as a nation?
So this hits at another key area. There are a couple areas where we have started to have some asymmetric weaknesses, some weaknesses that our adversaries can see and exploit. One of them's in cyber, and we heard recently about Chinese, putting malicious cyber tools in our national critical infrastructure. The other area is missile defense and our ability to defend our airspace against missiles fired from bombers and ships and land. So these bombers are testing our air defense responses. U.S. and Canadian fighter aircraft went out and met them. But the reality is we do have lots of gaps in our air defense systems and a significant weakness in our missile defense systems against cruise missiles fired from planes like these. So we do have a lot of vulnerabilities out there, and the Russians and Chinese are demonstrating they know what they are.
Yeah, do you think this move by the Russians and Chinese, do you think it'll motivate other adversaries or bad actors, especially now that President Biden is in his last few months of presidency?
So I do think, again, that these four countries are working together closely. So you see Iran pressurizing us through Israel. You see Russia pressurizing Europe and the United States through Ukraine. You see China pressurizing us through Taiwan, and North Korea pressurizing us through South Korea. So in all those different, campaigns, these four authoritarian states are working together, and it is going to put a lot of stress on the U.S. national security system. And you want your team to be at its pinnacle capability. So then you have to question, do we have a president in the right position to kind of carry forth against all these threats simultaneously?
Well, sir, thank you so much for your insights. We appreciate it, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me.